Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful Friday morning we have here, and just a few things to talk to you about this morning. First on the list is something that's on a lot of people's minds, and that's broadband. I want to talk to you about a couple of things over this next week that will be taking place to try to help bring appropriate broadband and fiber services to our community. I think, again, most of you are aware, I'm serving on the statewide broadband task force, and we will be meeting next week in Twin Falls. That's been a very interesting experience. They're bringing a lot of people who have a lot of experience, providers as well as users, together to determine what the best way to provide these services for our communities are. And I think some great things are going to come out of that. By the end of this summer, I think there'll be some things to take back to the governor that will bring great blessing. I know I'm learning a lot as I sit on these on these meetings and hear the things that are happening, some of the challenges as well as some of the ways that those challenges are being addressed. So I hope that will help in our community. And speaking of our community, next Thursday, July 18th, we're going to have our Broadband Fiber Community Forum. We're going to have people in here to talk to us about the things that are happening in our community, as well as some others, some things that we maybe should be considering. And this is open to the public. We'd love to have you come down if you'd like to come and participate with that. Again, that will be Thursday, July 18th, and it'll start at 6 o'clock right here at City Hall in the City Council chambers. So come down and participate with that. Today is our very first for the year, Movies in the Park. We're grateful to be able to sponsor those. We're being sponsored today by Remax Country Real Estate. We're showing the Lego Movie, the second part. That movie will start at dusk. But again, we invite you to bring your family and friends down there. Come early. You can let your children enjoy the splash pad and just bring some games or enjoy speaking and talking with one another. But those have become wonderful experiences, and we're grateful for that. Today, it looks like we're going to have beautiful weather. There's a possibility of some light showers early in the afternoon, but by evening, as we would start to gather, it's supposed to be beautiful. Matter of fact, it looks to me like it's going to be in the 70s most of the time that we would be here in the park. So again, that will be at Stewart Park. So come over, bring your family and friends, and enjoy one another. I want to talk to you a minute about well, before I do that, let me just mention that today the Chubbuck branch of the Citizens Community Bank is having their grand opening. And they're going to sponsor a barbecue, have hot dogs and hamburgers. That'll be from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock. So come on over and check out that new facility that they've built. It's absolutely beautiful. And see what they can do to help you in your business and personal affairs. And I want to talk to you a little bit about our community. It's the time of year where we need to make sure that we're very careful with fire of any kind. As it's warming up, it's supposed to be in the 90s over the next week and probably extended from that. So things will dry up fairly quick. We've had a beautiful green and lush and somewhat wet spring and start of summer, and that's provided a lot of fuel. As that dries up, we need to be very careful so that we don't have fire events in our community. And as you go out camping and things like that, just make sure that you're very careful. We also have the opportunity to help with the beautification of our community, to make sure that we take care of our own properties, to make sure that the weeds are down and that we mow our lawns and do those things. So again, we aren't asking for everybody to keep a park-type atmosphere in their own yards, but just to make it pleasant for yourself and for your neighbors, and also that we can be a safe community. There's a lot of things that come into play here. One of those is I've had a lot of people who are concerned about how fast people drive in our residential neighborhoods. I would just ask each one of us to make sure that we are aware when we're in a residential neighborhood, the potential of children being in the streets are there. Make sure that you're driving very defensively. I recognize that the speed limit's 25. That doesn't mean you need to go 25. And I would definitely encourage you not to push it up to the 30 miles an hour, which many have a tendency to do. But be very careful. Be aware of not just children. We have people who are walking and jogging, and you need to be very careful so that we don't end up having a tragedy of any kind. So I would ask you again to slow down. Sometimes we get to be in a little more of a hurry than we need to be. Just slow down and enjoy your atmosphere. I also had a couple of people talk to me during this last week, and I told them I would talk in my blog about this. There are many who like to jog in our communities. One of the challenges, and I'm one of those that have faced this challenge, is that as we're jogging particularly, we want the joggers to stay on our sidewalks if they can rather than be in the streets. And many times our trees, shrubs, and vegetation might be encroaching to where it makes it very difficult to stay on the sidewalk. So if I could just ask each of our residents to go out and make sure that you can walk underneath your tree, or that your bushes and greenery are not encroaching on the sidewalk to where a person would not be able to pass by your property. Again, that's a code. That's part of our city law, and we would ask each person to make sure, and just, it's the best kind of governance is self-governance. So if you just check yours and make sure that you're being a good neighbor and that your neighbors are able to use the sidewalk appropriately. Just a beautiful week. Hope you have a great week. And again, come out tonight, enjoy the community atmosphere at Stewart Park as we watch a movie together. See you again next week.